Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. This is the Futures Black Podcast. I am your host, Naseed Gifted.
Dilettante J Bass.
And we are the Futures Black Podcast. Today we're gonna get right into it. Today we got an exciting episode. Today we're talking about episode 25. Future Soundscapes, Afrofuturism, and music production. Exploring the intersection of technology and music within Afrofuturism, discussing Black musicians, producers, and artists who are pushing sonic boundaries and defining the soundtrack of the future. That is what we are talking about today. And once again, this is the Futures Black Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. We had an exciting week, man. I mean, there's a number of music festivals and stuff that's going on. We got Sounds of the City. There's a number of things. This past weekend, I want you to kind of start off with that because I know you was a part of the Lincoln Park Music Festival and everything. And then we'll jump right into some of these different, Afrofuturistic musicians, producers that's shaping the soundtrack of the future, man.
Yeah, this weekend it was nice at Lincoln Park Music Festival. 19 years at Lincoln Park Music Festival. They've been doing it downtown Newark. Thursday was gospel. Wednesday was gospel. Thursday line dancing. Friday R&B. Saturday house music, and Sunday hip hop. For R&B, they had Leela James, Christopher Williams, and Ro James. Ro and Leela did their thing. Saturday was house music. Hundred thousands come out for that. Sunday was hip hop. They had Craig G there, Raekwon and Ghostface, and Freeway. Freeway from Philly. They all did their thing, gave the people a nice show. Something to do, a free outdoor concert. It's a lot of that going on in New Jersey, New York, all over the country, especially in the summertime. Just find out where it's happening. A good way to save money just by going to free concerts. But, you got a budget because the food trucks and stuff starting to get real costly now. So you got to be mindful of that. But other than that, it was a cool weekend. And a show going on today. Karis One performing at Sounds of the City.
Oh yeah. We talking about I can't even say the godfather of hip hop or whatever, but one of the pioneers. I'm sorry I lied. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. KRS 1. So when we talk about Afrofuturism and Futurescapes, when we talk about Afrofuturism and music production, there's a number of artists who have been doing, Afrofuturism and their approach and their narrative as we talk about shaping the future soundtrack. When we get into artists like the Funkadelics or the Parliament of Funkadelics, Sun Ra, Grace Jones from their outfits to the sound that they generating, Outkast, Erykah Badu, people like Flying Lotus, and then Janelle Monáe are some of the more popular ones. And their music has been, been able to touch. And a lot of people, like when we say Outkast, right? Outkast was one of those groups that touched on the futuristic aspect of it in their representation, in their videos, and AT Aliens, what I'm saying? Like when we talk about fantasy, sci-fi, all of that, they infused all of that into their music and everything. They had their comic book, they had their animation, and even their sounds had a nice blend to it and everything, where you get Janelle Monáe, who had a number of albums. From her futuristic look, from the Crowns of the City, all of those different things. And then the mothership from the Funkadelics and everything, that was something. And then Sun Ra, Space is the Place. That was like one of the first representations I saw as far as more of the modern day music, but also he created a film behind that whole his whole movement and everything. And that futuristic sound, the electronica, as far as the electronics, the beat machines. I think hip hop kind of even touched into the Afrofuturistic aspect when they went from live music to more of a digital, the 808s and all this other drum machines and stuff like that, and that was also a layer of when we talk about music production and everything and how that actually, adds into the flavor and the narrative of what the future, may or may not look like. But the artist that I'm really tuned into now is definitely Flying Lotus. Flying Lotus is doing a phenomenal job and, pushing the narrative, pushing boundaries. From Cartoon Network and Toonami to doing a number of other projects, from Yakase, that's on Netflix right now, where he did the whole soundtrack for that. When we're talking about the first Japanese samurai, the first black samurai. And he did the soundtrack for that, and that was a layer that was super, super dope. And then when you get into like oh man, I'm trying to think. Supercell. What's the brother name that created Supercell? Because he was an MC himself. Let me see. Rap. I know his name is Rap something.
Doctors don't know.
Nah. Producer. He's actually the showrunner. He's actually the writer of the Rap Man. So Rap Man out of the UK. And that's how like hip hop and everything. We talk about a whole Afrofuturism flavor to something. Ratman was the individual who kind of created Supercell and stuff. And then I always see how it's always been infused and being able to tell our narrative, within, these particular spaces and everything. But, like who are some of the people that you look to when we talk about Afrofuturism and music production? And then the one of the things, so we have to disclose, like we would show you a bunch of representations of this, but because of YouTube and copyright issues and everything, we can't show these like music videos and the different representations. But shout out to those artists that we mentioned, and Yatasha Walmack, who is a phenomenal writer and talks about Afrofuturism at all levels, in music and art, and everything in between, and all of these different medias that we are seeing these different levels of Afrofuturism, are because of writers like her, individuals like Machindo, as well as Tim Fielder, who's doing a number of, projects that infuses Afrofuturism and everything. But back to the question, brother, like some of the artists that when you hear the word Afrofuturism, who infused it into their sound?
I mean, let me see. It's just that, there's different ways of looking at it, because sometimes we'll say Afrofuturism, and it's like some of these artists been out before the term even existed.
Oh, yeah.
So it's definitely like they won't call it that, some of them.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but you have to look at Pharrell, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, Funkadelics, Outkast. Who else you got? Then you also got to look at like rap and certain hip hop and all that been a genre or a soundtrack to a lot of movies, rather martial arts, tech movies, even take the Boondocks within itself. And so you'll start to see, like, even a lot of these Asian movies, they start to play the rap music that go along with the whole futuristic movement. So it's like, but I would say Pharrell. I would say Pharrell is a major one.
Would you throw the RZA up in there, man?
The RZA from Afro Samurai. The RZA was on it heavy with different beats using different sounds. Oh man, my man who passed away, Jay Dilla.
Oh, Jay Dilla, yeah, Jay Dilla.
Erykah Badu.
Oh, MF Doom.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. MF Doom.
Yeah, MF Doom, yeah.
It's a lot of cats that venture down that path of that futurism or metaphysics and all that within itself. Not cannabis. Man, I forgot my man. He down with Brother Rich. Him. I forgot his name. but there's so many artists that I could just in that genre, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I would say Earth, Wind, and Fire and Funkadelics.
So what makes their sound Afrofuturistic, or have the qualities of Afrofuturism in it?
I mean, sometimes there's no particular sound. Sometimes it's how the whole scene come together, whether their sound, their outfits,
Mm-hmm.
what they're talking about,
Yep.
and also where it's being displayed at.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's what creates the movement. It's just like more sense of seeing black music or black sound or entertainment, singers and rappers and places and movies and things that represent the future to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if they show Total Recall, now they have within the movie soundtrack of some rap song.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what I think of it as, like our place in history where we make a mark where people say, "Yeah, we will always be around."
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, controlling the narrative. I mean, I think one of the newer artists, I'm not going to say new artists because I'm not ingrained in this today's hip hop like that. You know, I know you are way more better versed than anything. I'm still stuck in the 2010s, guy, everybody. So I just, I'm just, disclose where I'm at in the hip hop scene. I don't listen to the radio like that. I get recommended music. That's where I'm at with the whole thing. But Metro Boom is definitely one of the individuals I see like on the come up when we talk about the Afrofuturism movement and everything, kind of crafting the beats and stuff, of the future soundtrack and everything. And then if you haven't listened to the soundtrack that he did for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, like he used that level of production in that particular soundtrack and everything. And of course he collaborated with a number of artists and everything, but I think that like that level of that. And then from the Afro beats standpoint, I think of Fela, because Fela always talked about a future Nigeria which wasn't being oppressed, which was seeking its own independence and everything. So his lyrics, his actual production within the beats, the sound, the drums, like all of that stuff, because that was the foundation of what we look at as what we call Afro beats nowadays and everything. Him, Yusu and Dor, and a number of other artists. I'm not just looking at the history, but
forgot one more person, Kanye West.
Oh yeah, Kanye West. Yeah,
Can't forget Kanye.
Yeah, Kanye was definitely when we talk about the Afrofuturism movement and everything. I mean, and they have a whole exhibit about a number of these artists at the Afrofuturism exhibit. If you haven't checked it out at the Smithsonian, at the African American Museum of Natural History, African American Museum. I think it's natural history. But they have an Afrofuturism exhibit, and that is actually going to be over within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you check out the Afrofuturism exhibit. And they have a number of the works for these particular artists that we're talking about, from your Outkast to Janelle Monáe, your Funkadelics. They actually have the mothership that they actually had when he did his concerts and everything. So they had that, a number of the outfits and everything. And a lot of people don't even know, but as far as representation, if you remember, Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson did a collabo called Scream. And that Scream, where they actually was, in a future sense, they were playing like a futuristic version of Pong. Pong. And, and that was like a representation. And a lot of people don't know, not from her sound. Maybe she added different layers. So because I'm not a composer, I don't know all of the intricacies of the composition. But I will say, from a representation and a visual standpoint, Missy Elliott had a lot of Afrofuturistic, where she put Mega Man and a whole bunch of other things, within her videos and stuff that kind of represented that. Like I said, the lyrics may not have been as futuristic or whatever, but she created a a visual representation that kind of depicted us within the future, and being able to tell her narrative within that particular space. So I mean, shout out to Missy Elliott, with regards to that. And then once again, like I said, I'm still in the 2010s. Now I'm trying to think of some of the new artists that's out there. Like I said, Metro Boomin, who actually just came out with a comic book series.
Yeah.
Featuring his music. He actually did a short film. We had Morgan Freeman doing the narration and everything, which was super dope. So make sure you check that out. And I think we got John Thompson, excuse me, who's actually did the soundtrack for our upcoming project, P.B.Soldier Blacklisted, which the soundtrack for that is definitely, when we talk about Afrofuturism, we made sure that we infuse that in every single song within the soundtrack and everything. Now, so that definitely was
another artist, Nico.
Nico, yeah.
She takes the cake. Like, she represents that in the future and how people portrayed it. Image wise, even her style of dressing, when you go see her in show, she's just different,
Yeah. And then sometimes, like some people be on a whole different level, and we be wondering why, they're just futuristic in their approach. Some people may call it weird. Some people, I just came from Comic-Con, and some things that we would see as different, the general population may see as different. Or some people may even see weird. It's just normal. Everybody just being their own geek or their blurb selves. So that is just a whole nother world. And it's all about finding your tribe and everything. And once you find your tribe and being able to just be a part of that. And then continuing with Comic-Con, there's a number of projects. They made a number of announcements with Marvel and everything. You got Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Dr. Doom, and Deadpool and Wolverine just came out and they broke the box office. That was one of the things that was a highlight of the weekend and everything too, because it just dropped last week. So that does a number of projects, but one of the projects that I was super excited, it was actually two. One was the Tim Fielder and Walter Grayson, who came out with the history of hip hop. So they would talk about hip hop and how hip hop is evolved, but they did a graphic novel. The graphic history of hip hop. That's the actual title. So make sure you check that out by Tim Fielder and Walter Grayson. And that was a project that kind of details the history of hip hop up until the present of 2010. So they stopped at 2010, which allowed them to probably do another volume, later on. So they just dropped that, and they've been touring the country with that. But the other project, which I want to kind of show the audience, is Ananu, which is coming on Cartoon Network. I know we talked about this in a previous episode, but one of the things that they launched at Comic-Con in San Diego was a first look. And what I want to do is be able to show you guys this first look by Unique Studios for Ananu and Lion Forge. So let me bring that up. Present. Here we go. Share screen. Bam. Okay. And
there she is! We'll corner her at the waterfall.
So that was an Anu. And wow, man, that thing blew me away when I looked at the animation, when they showed the actual character designs, the backgrounds, all of that stuff, the soundtrack, all these things. So shout out to Roy Coupe, who's been one of our close partners and friends, who's also partnered with Lion Forge Animation, who's actually producing this. And this is going to happen on Cartoon Network coming 2025. So spring of 2025, that is going to be launched, and they're going to be dropping more little sizzlers and teasers as we get closer to that. They're going to be actually at Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival this weekend as well. So looking out, make sure you support that. Make sure you jump out and share and let people know about this particular project. It's something that we are excited about, but it also just shows, if you stay consistent, if you stay with and persevere and everything, how your projects can, move to the next level. And that's something that we're looking to do. We are launching out, like I said, our our short film within the next couple of weeks. So you're going to be seeing a little teaser of that as well. P.B.Soldier Blacklisted. And, we're super excited about that. And, with regards to this Futurescape, with regards to that and Afrofuturism and music production, there is a ton of representations from the visual standpoint, from the music production standpoint, and how they infuse in technology, how they use the, the beat machines to, no auto tunes, and how, who was that? Not Akon.
Jay-Z or
no.
Singing guy.
Yeah. T-Pain, who used auto tunes and music and everything. That was something, when we talk about digitizing sound and stuff like that.
Well, it was T-Pain. It was my man from LA. Not LA.
What are we talking about? Computer Love guy?
Yeah.
So Computer Love, that was one of the first times I actually heard the synthesizer and everything, put into music soundtracks and everything. So yeah, I know you guys remember Computer Love. Yeah, that song, one of the old school songs and everything, was definitely a hit, within this. But let us know what you think, and let us know what Afrofuturistic things that you're seeing in the music scene, right now, and some of the more contemporary artists that you are following right now, and who's been infusing this, and make sure you put that in the chat. Make sure you put that in the chat. And we're gonna pause for a second because we got to we got to pay the bills. So thank you for tuning in to the Futures Black Podcast each and every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And once again, thank you for tuning in each and every week. We just want to make sure that we inform the community, let everybody know about all of the great things that's going on. And then this is summertime, man. So there's a ton of music festivals. Yeah. There's actually one that we're about to be a part of. And I'll bring out some highlights from the next from Comic-Con from last week. So you'll see that next week. We'll put the reel and everything together and kind of tap into that. But once again, there's a number of things. Michelle, what you call it? She's going to be at Celebrate Brooklyn on Friday. So
Michelle Indigo.
Yep, Michelle Indigo. Yeah.
God, you said name.
Yes, she's going to be at the Prospect Park in Brooklyn, a part of Celebrate Brooklyn with the Brick. So shout out to her. Definitely check. When I think of Afrofuturism, I think of her as well, as far as her sound, as far as her music and representation, and the content and the lyrics of what they be talking about. When we paint ourselves in a future sense, dealing with our social ills that we deal with in our community each and every day, but also projecting, forward to a space where, we are overcoming and, dealing with the struggle and everything accordingly, and we coming up with solutions, because that's what a lot of this stuff does, is come up with solutions. So I mean, that's pretty much where we're going to be with regards to the show. Let us know who your favorite Afrofuturistic artist is, and then kind of let us know also, who we didn't talk about in this particular chat. I would love to be able to, have a show and a premiere when we could actually show all of these videos and have rights to be able to do that. But even if we show it, YouTube will actually block it for copyright purposes and everything. So we don't want to do that. And then you would just be having silent areas or silent pieces throughout the segment. So we don't want that. So that's why we're kind of limited to kind of just showing, what we're showing. But we wanted to definitely, highlight the Nanu project that's coming out in spring 2025. And then, we're going to end off with our project. And then actually we got KHEM Fest replay. So we got the KHEM Animation Film Festival that's going to be replayed September 28th at the Heritage Hall in the Haynes Building, downtown Newark. So we're looking to do that on September 28th. So if you were in Jersey, if you're close to Jersey, make sure you come out and support. We are going to be showcasing 12 films free of charge. And then we're also looking to premiere. We're going to actually look to premiere Jazen and Rose That Grew from the Concrete. We're actually looking to have that there. And then we'll also have another clip of P.B.Soldier Blacklisted. So we got a number of things that's coming forth. But once again, let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know what you like. And we're going to close out with that. And make sure you do a couple of things for us because we want to grow this channel as best as we can. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we want to thank you for watching the Futures Black podcast, where we're coming to you and at you each and every week. I want to show this clip from Blacklisted, which is going to be dropping later this year.
To be blacklisted means you are listed among those who were under suspicion and cannot be trusted. To be blacklisted means you are denied access to a certain systems or protocols. Computer, site, network, finally society. excitement particles are hacked into the computer network memory. This may be over before it begins.
So that was P.B.Soldier Blacklisted, starring Tobias Trevelyan, our man Tobias Trevelyan, who's done a phenomenal job. Davion Bussey, H.B. Gibson, George Charlemagne. There's a number of individuals who's a part of this particular project in the soundtrack done by John Thompson. So we're excited about that, man. And we're looking forward to the next piece of this. And we're doing a number of things throughout the summer, man. But once again, we want to thank you all for tuning in. This is the Phocused Black Podcast, and we appreciate the support, the time. We'll be in Philly. We'll be in Philly this weekend, actually. And we'll be doing, man, what's the name? I want to make sure I say the right name of the festival. We're going to be doing the 20th annual African Independence Day. So the Phocused Black Podcast will be at the 20th annual African Independence Day. We're going to be talking around 3:00. So if you are in the Philadelphia area, make sure you come out. That's going to be at the Malcolm X Memorial Park on 52nd and Pine Street, and that's in Philadelphia. That's in Philadelphia, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Excuse me, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Your favorite Afrofuturistic, futurism and tech. The duo is going to be on the stage talking to the audience about Afrofuturism and tech and everything. And then also we'll have a book signing right after we actually do our talk. So make sure you come out to the 20th annual African Independence Day Festival, the Mayat celebration. So Mayat, which means harmony. So make sure you come out, and that's going to be at the Malcolm X Memorial Park on 52nd and Pine Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So that goes from 12 to 7. So if you're in the Philly area, you're coming out to a cultural affair, please come out and support, man. We definitely appreciate the support that you've been showing us. If you want to meet us in person, that's where we'll be on Saturday. So thank you guys once again for tuning in. My name is Naseed Gifted, and this is
Dilettante J. Bass.
And this is the Phocused Black Podcast. We want to thank you all for tuning in once again, and tune in next week, 8:00, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, thank you for tuning in, and peace.